Good morning, everybody. It's Mike with smartoptiontrading.com. It is Sunday, the 16th of June. This is my week ahead video. It goes out to my members. It's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. No charge this week, so I'm going to put this out there for free. My thank you to all you guys who follow me on social media. You get my video ahead for this week for free. So let's talk about what's going on this week. We come into a market that is at all-time highs, just slightly off of them, and very, very slow and quiet. And this week's going to be a slow week, unless something big happens. We have very little going on. We have retail sales on Tuesday. We have PMI composite, flash composite on Friday. The markets are closed on Wednesday for Juneteenth. Okay, so the markets are closed. You have a lot of Fed speak. A lot of them are speaking at the same place on Wednesday as well. But overall, very, very quiet week from a economic perspective and from an earnings perspective. There ain't nothing out here. You got some home builders and the Kroger, and that's about it. So we really don't have much going on out there this week to move the markets. So let's start things off. We talk about it. We always start off with the ES here. It's what we do. The ES here kind of going sideways, held the 8-day. Nice little pattern up here. Still looks very, very bullish. The NQ, similar, except broke to a new high on late Friday afternoon. Crude still under 80. We'd like this to stay lower and drop back down towards 70, but we'll take this. Bonds strengthening. This is good. So, bonds going up, rates coming down. This is what we need to see. Gold is pretty much quiet, out of play. Bitcoin's been very quiet, out of play, trying to break down here. We'll see. The VIX saying there's nothing going on here. It never got going this week. It's still hanging down in around the 12, 13 area. HYG, we track this because this is, corporate junk bonds, and they've been weak, and this is part of the problem. They led us up. In fact, if you see this move up here, this was the bonds led first. They were the first to turn. Very, very quiet here. They're back to just trading with the market or weaker. The transports cannot wake up back down under the 200-day. That's a problem. And the dollar continues to strengthen. That's a problem. So we have mixed internals when we look at this stuff for the market. We have strengthening dollar, and we have but we do have weakening rates as well. So both of those are good for the market. So weakening rates are good for the market. Strengthening dollar is not good. Sentiment. Let's talk sentiment. Sentiment is a mixed bag here. If you look what's going on with the Nasdaq on the oscillator, negative 156, we're slightly oversold. We can go lower. We don't really worry about it till we get under 200 or over 200. So not much going on here. On the New York Stock Exchange, it's the same thing. We have struggled to get good readings in the last couple of years. Last year on this just hasn't happened. Advanced decline lines pretty much all rolled down. Notice the big drop in small caps. Small caps continue to be a big problem here. And then the other problem has been the inversion that we've seen in the number of stocks making new highs versus making new lows. So on these S&P 500, 70 making new lows versus 12 making new highs. We want this opposite. You see when we were pushing up, how strong. Look at all this big bright green versus the red's way down here, right? We had a lot of names making new highs. Now we have very few names making highs. And if you look on the NASDAQ, similar story. It's been inverted for longer, plus 68 versus negative 210. So we're seeing the internals of the market going in the wrong direction. The put to call coming back into the neutral zone. Again, I think this is being jaded by the daily options traders. And then breadth, complete nosedive here, leading down here on the NASDAQ, just puking. And the New York Stock Exchange turned down, but still above the 21-day. So, internally, the market is not looking so hot. And I say that to you guys with the idea here is not to cause you guys problems, but to sit here and say, okay, what does this mean? Yep, we closed on the highs on Friday. We had an inside day. The market's still strong, but what we're seeing here is a lack of leadership. So for now, the SPY is still holding here well above the 8-day, 21-day, right? All the moving averages turning up. 544.12 takes that out. We put a new all-time high in. We have a gap at 540.30 that we've tested a couple times, but haven't gotten into it. It's a $3 gap. So overall, the SPY remains just fine. The Qs we talked about, new all-time highs. That looks good as well. And then you look at the rest of the market. Oops, the Dow. Right, the Dow has been weak, hasn't made a new all-time high now in a month. The IWM has just been absolutely puking and weak, coming back down. Energy, weak, continues to come down. Financials remain weak and out of play. Biotech's going sideways, doing nothing. So we don't have a lot of help in these sectors. So you're saying, where is the leadership? Well, the leadership's been in a very narrow area. The SMH is new all-time high. Nice move here on the SMHs on Friday. new all-time high. Nvidia, another new all-time high. This one just keeps going. Micron, new all-time high this week, just off of it. ARM put a new all-time high on Friday. You get the idea here. You're seeing a lot of leadership. Dell had a nice little bounce. SMCI had a nice little bounce. You can get the idea. You're getting a lot of leadership here. AMD, unfortunately, remains sideways. So for me, when I look at what's going on here, I ask myself, where do I want to be? Well, I'm going to continue to stick with the names that are working. I'm going to continue to focus on NVIDIA because it's working. And this, generally, the semi sector, AMD, to me, continues to be weak. It's under the 8-day, it's under the 21-day. It's trying to break under this 160 area. Maybe there's some news that comes out that saves it, but right now it remains weak. So I'm going to stay there. And then there's big cap tech. Microsoft, the new all-time highs. I mean, this is the type of things, guys, you just keep buying and trading them and pushing them up. And, this market is just taking money from everywhere else and piling into these names right now. And while we have a very thin market, it's being held up by about 20 or so names. They're some of your semis and these big cap tech names, and everything else is just out of play, other than a couple other strange little names here and there, or some of your big retailers. So Microsoft, strong, new all-time highs here this week, right there. Let's look for this one. I keep an eye on this one. Apple, huge 2 days last week. Like how it's holding in here. As long as it continues to hold this 210 area, I think it's going to move to go higher. Now, if the markets come in, these could all possibly shorts, right? These all look good. Netflix woke up on Friday, broke out. So Netflix, to me, this is one that I have my eyes on. We traded it on Friday. I'm not in it over the weekend, but $700.01 your all-time high. 680 to me is your next level to watch there. We'll keep an eye on that one. Amazon woke back up. Not a great candle, but pushed back up. Needs to clear the 8-day. I like it back above the 8-day. Google here put a new all-time high and came in, but look at that big bounce off the 21-day. Notice the trend. 21-day bounces, 21-day bounce. Came down here, 21-day bounce, right? It's holding the 21-day and it's using that nice big bounce off of there. Meta, a couple days outside, still holding the 8-day. I still think they're going to come back for this one again here shortly. Just seems like they're letting this digest and it's just sitting there going sideways right now. What else out there? Tesla. So Tesla, guys, the vote's over. They came down, we filled that gap. He's going to get his money. Yeah, it's going to go back to the court, but the court basically say the people voted and they voted again the same way. So, this is over. It's really just about the whole EV industry is just not trading well. And until he actually has some of these other products out, I think this name will continue to be struggling for now. So, it was on my list last week to trade. We traded a bunch of times. This week, it's probably not on my list. Honest answer. Costco, new all-time highs. This name is just in fuego. Walmart, another one. Look at how well these are holding in, right? They want those big retailers, Target not being one of them. And then you look around and you say, okay, where are we going to go from here? Adobe had a nice big earnings. We'll see. I still think the 200 days in play there. But you take this aside, guys, there's just not a lot going on with Bitcoin weak. Coin has been weak. Everybody who was screaming it for me, Mike, I don't understand what you hate about China names. I don't understand why you don't want these BABA and these stocks. Yeah, well, because this is why they're coming right back down. This is not a sustained bounce. Look at the gaps. It's just not tradable. So for me this week, it's a short week. I'm going to focus on the names that have been making me money, and those names are Apple, they're Nvidia, they've been Tesla, there's been Netflix, right? I'm going to continue to focus on these names, Microsoft. I'm going to stay away unless the market rotates. Now, if the market comes in, I'll be happy to take some shorts on these names. Nvidia was great shorting at times, and Tesla. We'll see where we go. But for this week, guys, it's a short week, nice and easy. I expect it to remain a quiet week. Everybody enjoy your Father's Day. I'll catch you guys live in the room Monday morning at 9 a.m. If you want to join us, I put a link in the description below.